Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Let's talk about immigration, because it's got some objectivists against other objectivists, and there's some fighting going on a bit. Ayn Rand said she's not against immigration. How could she be? Because otherwise she wouldn't be alive if she couldn't have immigrated. She said your selfishness does not go so far as to allow you to destroy somebody else's life in order for you to be happy and secure. You don't get to live that way. So if you say it's lessening your well-being by somebody coming across the border into your country, she says that's not legitimate. You don't get to push them out into the wilderness, as it were, so that you can live more comfortably. Okay, so taking these things and putting them in our pockets. We'll get back to them if we need to, as we need to. The population of China is 1.1 billion or so. 1.3 billion or so. The population of India is 1.1 billion or so. I've heard 900 million. Population of Indonesia is 600 million or 700 million. The population of the United States is 350 million. So, it looks to me like we are with the big boys, but dangerously not quite there. And I've thought about, what if we would have had more immigration from China and from Japan and from the Orient generally during the 1800s? You know, when we passed these things and the Chinese had to go back, we sent some of them back. And what if we would have let them in? And what if we had large numbers of Chinese today? Americanized. They had been here for a century and a half. So, I don't know. What if we had 450 or 500 million or 600 million people in America? And they were Americans. Now, the reason that immigration is such a sticky problem today, for us today, is because we see what's happening in Europe. It's a disaster. Now, we have part of the problems that they have in Europe, but not all the problems. If somebody moves to America, they're moving into a country where a lot of people own guns, and so they can't just misbehave blatantly and openly. And in Europe, if the police are, there's a lot of countries in Europe, there's 20 or 30 countries. If the police in a given country aren't really on the ball, these immigrants can lord it over the citizens because there's no guns. People don't own guns, or very, very, very few do. So coming into America and misbehaving is a little different. Also, they've set up councils and government bodies to help the immigrants become part of the culture in France and probably in other places. And the body that's supposed to help the Muslims integrate has been taken over by, guess who? Muslims. And so that's not working. So they're having problems that we're never going to have in America. So for that, I have to say, go ahead and bring them in. There is the problem of the welfare state. Once they get in here, they automatically, by law, get signed up for all these fancy welfare programs. Very, very expensive welfare programs. And the Democrats know this, and everybody knows that 99% of them are going to vote Democrat. They all come from socialist countries. And they come here and they vote for the Socialist Party. No surprise. That's why the Democrats are in favor of massive unchecked immigration, because they want to get the votes. So, what should we do about it today? I think that we should have laws about how many people come in. I don't think that we should have open borders. We do have the most generous immigration system on the planet. And I'm for that. It should probably be increased, probably should be doubled or tripled. But I still don't think that you can just have open borders, especially not today. It's just not real anymore. It's just not real. It's like saying that, you don't have locks on the door of your house. It's just insane. Or you don't have a fence around your yard. What if you live in a rough, tough neighborhood and you've got little teeny kids in your yard? I mean, how stupid do we have to be? Really? You don't want to lock up your valuables? You don't want to protect your stuff? So I think that's a really stupid thing in today's mobile world where everybody can move very quickly and very easily, and where there's the money to pay them to move, apparently. Think about those damn bastards coming up from Guatemala in a huge caravan. What if they attacked their own government like that? They're willing to fight the Mexican police, but they're not willing to fix their own country? What if they put some energy in at home? But they're going to come here and ask for handouts and then take jobs and send money back to their relatives at home. America's a huge teat and everybody's sucking it, you know, and it's ridiculous. Our welfare state's the main problem. If we did away with the welfare state, I would say open borders. Sure, let them come, because there's nothing they can do here. You might not know, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to say there's nothing they can do here besides get a job and be productive. You might not know, ladies and gentlemen, that 1 out of 3 immigrants from Europe went back to Europe. Only 2 out of 3 stayed in America. And guess what? The ones that stayed were able to work and get a job and be productive. The ones that left, I don't know, they went back to Europe. So I think open immigration's probably the best solution. I think the only problem with that's the welfare state. And what if we had 600 million people? I mean, where would they live? California wouldn't be the only state with 40 million people. So Utah, instead of 3 million, might have 9 or 10 or 15. Idaho could easily fit more than the 1.5 million people it has. Montana with 300,000 people, please. We could put some people up there. So we should have had a much bigger nation. We shouldn't have checked immigration so much. Not that they didn't think that the Chinese wouldn't take over. That's what they thought. The Chinese would take over the West Coast and own California. Possibly that could have happened. I don't know. Maybe the Mexicans will take California back. It looks like they kind of own it right now. So, I don't know what else to say about it. Except that those of you who are mad dogs in favor of open borders, come on. You don't have locks on your doors at your house? And those of you who are against immigration, come on. You really want to shut down immigration? When? What year? When do you get to do that? Would you have shut down immigration 100 years ago? 50 years ago? When are you going to shut immigration off? Why do you get to choose? Why do you say we immigrate, people can come here, and we add to freedom and we get a bigger and bigger group of free people until when? When do you stop it? So I think that's an arbitrary position. Our position should be dismantle the welfare state as soon as possible and have virtually open borders.